My beloved child, I am so proud of you. The quiet prayers whispered in your hidden corners have reached the heights of heaven. The miracle you longed for has already been affirmed in the council of heaven. And tonight, in a stillness only the devoted can perceive, this good news comes to you, not careless, not late, but perfectly timed to keep your heart from falling. I see your heart at times like a door left ajar, not fully shut to the world, yet not fully open to me. You are not wayward, but you have become accustomed to moving fast, and so you are tempted to believe that faith is a shortcut to success. But my child, not everything labeled mystery comes from heaven, and not everyone who says Lord is someone I have sent. There is a kind of hunger the thief of souls delights in, an impatience for results without the willingness to be taught. I do not blame you when you are weary, when you lift your eyes to the prosperous and wonder, could faith make me succeed like them? But be careful, my child. Not every path that seems holy leads to the holy place. Some baits are perfumed with spiritual role models, yet are only marketing tricks. And if you keep walking inside the dream of leaping to success, you will lose the very soul you once laid upon the altar. The world is skilled at dressing up as angels when it needs to sell something. Slogans, thunder, financial miracles, destiny unlocked, supernatural favor, promising everything except the daily walk with me. Look closely, people no longer teach one another to love me. They teach how to manage me. They preach not to lead you to the Father's heart, but to lure your purse into theirs. My child, if faith becomes a tool to trade for a new life, then who is being exalted, me or the ambitious self within you? Yet amid the dust of the game that spiritualizes wealth, I am guarding a small path, rarely chosen but radiant. Their faith is not a golden key to the treasure houses of earth, but a staff for walking with the Father on every road. You will not find glitter there, but you will find me, your Father, who never disappears, even when results have not yet appeared. That is no shortcut. That is the way home. Do you know souls do not plunge into the abyss in a single night? It begins with steps that are very light, very clever, very reasonable. A small compromise here, a tidy rationalization there. Your heart does not turn its back on me at once, it simply stops leaning toward me. Shortcuts always look gentle, little demanded, much promised. And when you are tired of waiting, when you are disappointed that prayer seems unanswered, the shortcut will come and whisper, I have a faster way. But I want you to grasp this. Not every voice that sounds devout comes from the Father above. Some words are preached as though anointed with holy oil, yet they are merely the lures of human desire. The loaves in the wilderness are not always from me. Sometimes they are from the enemy, only to pull you away from the place of waiting on me. Remember, the devil can quote scripture, and it loves to use the sweetest sayings to draw you off the way of the cross while making you think you remain on the right road. I am not angry when you dream of sufficiency or long to stand steady in this world, but I grieve when you begin to think of me as a formula for a better life, a VIP pass to outpace others. My child, a soul was not born to be traded like stock. Do not lay yourself upon the bargaining table swapping a few spiritual lessons for a promotion. Do not trade the hours with me for a handful of Christianized success hacks. Faith is for living, not for using. There is a truth many do not tell you. Those with the holiest appearance can sometimes lead your soul into a sweet darkness. They do not tell you to deny me, but they quietly starve your desire for me. They speak of prosperity as the proof of faith, yet never mention suffering as part of following the Lord. They build heaven with cash and stamp anointed on everything they sell. My child, open your eyes. Do not swallow sleeping pills labeled blessing, for there are some who sell my name to feed their greed, and some who sell their faith to buy a few instant wonders. But you are different. I have chosen you not to chase spiritual trends, but to stand when the whole world runs. When your heart is at peace because of the truth, You will not need a miracle to know I am at work. You do not need a blessing activation program. You need only to keep living uprightly in the light I have given. One small step in faithfulness is worth more than 100 strides in deceit, robed in spirituality. Look again at the lines you have heard. Just sow money and reap a bountiful season. Trade a portion to receive 100-fold from God. This is a breakthrough season for those who dare to invest. Do you see? They speak as if faith were a financial game. But I never taught you that way. When I called you to follow, I did not promise assets. I promised myself. When you share your portion to feed the poor, you do it for love, not to get double in return. Blessing is not the payout of a system, it is the sign of my presence in your life. There will be times you feel left behind. Others seem blessed with fanfare while you hold only faithfulness. I know you will feel the sting, but do not trade your soul for the feeling of having something now. Everything I build in your life has its time, its depth, and its roots. If you are patient, you will receive what others never will, a life unshaken when promises seem delayed, and a soul that needs to borrow light from no one but me. Do you remember when I led my people out of Egypt? I did not choose the nearest road, though it existed. I led them through wilderness, through the Red Sea, through many crossroads of testing. Not because I wished them hardship, but because I wanted them to learn. The miracle is not only crossing the sea, but refusing to return to Egypt when thirsty. So it is now you stand in a desert of choices. Either you trust me enough to wait, or you sell yourself to arrive faster. But my child, no shortcut reaches the place where I am waiting for you. Therefore, if anyone comes to you claiming a special key to open heaven, a spiritual secret for breakthrough, or a prophecy reserved for the quickest donors, smile and step back. You do not need such tickets, for I have given my only Son as your one and only admission. Do not walk into revolving doors that require you to leave faith outside to enter. Do not let the Lord, Lord on another's lips drown out my whisper in your heart. If you have already set your foot on such a path, do not fear. Stop. I do not condemn. I invite. Return to the old road, where I am, where the light is not blinding but enough to see each stone beneath your feet. That road is narrow and seldom traveled, but it is the way home. There I will teach you to discern true gold from tricks gilded in glitter. There you will learn again to love me, not for what I give, but because I, who loved you first, am myself your gift. And one day, when someone preaches again about a spiritual rags to riches, to dream a heaven uniquely open today, or a 7-step journey to wealth in the Lord's name, your heart will no longer be troubled. You will smile, bow your head, and keep living quietly by the word I have spoken. No display, no competition, only faithfulness. For when you choose the narrow way, heaven has already begun to open to you in a manner no one else may see, yet I mark every step you take. I do not promise that what I give will always match your preferences, but I promise it will always fit what your soul most truly needs. That is blessing, not noisy, not showy, but enough to keep you from breaking in the days no one notices. If your spiritual life is built upon what I give you, will keep running to me in gratitude. But if your faith rests on what I can do rather than on who I am, your heart will soon grow weary. For true blessing cannot be severed from the bond between father and child, a relationship not measured by account balances, but by the hours you are willing to sit and be still before me. There the clamor fades. There you need prove nothing to anyone, only to be present, only to be sincere, and to know one thing, that I am here not to scrutinize but to walk with you. There are wounds that silver and gold cannot heal and cannot replace: nearness, quiet spaces, the assurance that one still holds your hand even when you have nothing left to offer but a tired soul. Such moments keep your spirit from shattering, and you will see faith is not a trick for bargaining a miracle. Faith is a real relationship between me and you from heart to heart. My child, there are times you bow to pray while your eyes glance at another's life. You do not say it aloud, but I feel the stir of envy within you. Why are they abundant, while I am still struggling? That question slips between your words of praise. You are not evil. You are simply living in a world that teaches blessing always travels with wealth. But my child, what if I gave you nothing more except myself? Would you still call that being blessed? I see those who preach that obedience yields profit giving, multiplies, returns, and faith compounds by the hundredfold. They shout promises never offered in that way, and then attach my name to all their prosperity. I do not deny that I give, but I have never taught you to measure my love by possessions. When you raise your worth according to what you receive, you haggle with grace. And my child, grace is not for bargaining. There are times I allow you to taste lack, not because I turn away, but because I want you to learn how to stand in empty places with a full heart. Some have barns that burst, yet souls that are hollow. Others have empty hands, yet live as heirs of heaven. When you treat possessions as the prize, you will be disappointed when life refuses your expectations. But if you treat me as the prize, no circumstance will make you feel rejected. Blessing is not the ability to spend without thought, but the ability to be content when nothing has yet arrived. It is not loud or ostentatious, but it shines through the choices you make when no one is watching. The truly blessed need not trumpet what they receive, for they are busy living it with humility. When I grant you quiet within your heart, amid the chaos of life that is my touch upon you, no one sees, but heaven knows. I did not make you to race up the rankings. I made you to walk with me day by day, step by step, breath by breath. Sometimes the true blessing is that I do not give you what you want, because that thing would spoil your soul. Sometimes delay is how I protect you from the shortcuts that would ruin your heart. And sometimes a small room, a modest job, a simple meal is the most complete picture of blessing, only lacking the one thing that you have not yet done to look at it with eyes of love. Do not let your heart be shaken by dazzling testimonies that ring hollow. I do not need you to boast about what you have. I delight far more when I see you dare to share out of your little pard. Blessed indeed is the one who is grateful when receiving little and forgets self when receiving much. They do not need to go live to display a heaven-sent windfall. They give in secret, then keep on living. That is the kind of person heaven calls my friend. I know there are moments you think, do I not deserve a more comfortable life? But child, at times, what I am giving you is not outside you. It is within a deeper capacity to endure a patience, being forged a heart no longer dragged around by the applause of people. I am giving you a kind of blessing the world cannot understand, and because it cannot, it will assume you have nothing. But I know, I always know. My child, if one day you open your closet and find nothing new to wear, open your wallet and find nothing new to spend, yet your heart still lifts to praise me, that is the day heaven throws a feast. For then you have chosen me not for the reward, but for me myself, and that is true faith, not transactional faith, but abiding faith. Not the faith of grand exploits, but the faith formed by simplicity and fidelity. Was it not in the poverty of a manger that my only son was born? If I chose that for the Savior, then you can trust I am not afraid to let you pass through seasons of emptiness. It is there you will see most clearly who is walking with you, and you will understand blessing is not what you can seize with your hands, but the one you hold with your heart. When your heart can hold on to me, you lack nothing. Each day that you choose a clean heart over contention, simplicity, over striving, giving, over hoarding, you are living in the wealth that heaven celebrates. And then a day will come when every asset passes away, contracts, savings, books, stocks, everything will turn to dust, but what you have lived for, my sake, will remain. That is the true inheritance. And perhaps it is time you look again. What I give is not meant to fill your hands, but to lift your head. For there is another kind of blessing, quieter, more enduring, waiting for you in a place where money cannot buy. There I do not count the number of times you were blessed. I look at the number of times you still chose to love me, even when you thought you held nothing at all. Have you ever sat in a crowded service listening to others tell of miracles, of signs, of dreams, of a changed life? While your heart stayed silent, you did not feel envy. You simply began to wonder, is my faith too weak? Have I not yet learned how to activate heaven's wonders? Then you heard others teach stronger ways to pray, secrets to take hold of spiritual destiny, steps to shatter financial chains, and you started to believe faith is a technique if you perform it correctly, and by the book, heaven will open like a door with a passcode. But child, I am not a system that requires the right sequence of operations. I am the living one, and faith is not what makes me act. It is what makes you remain. Remain in relationship without conditions. Remain when the miracle has not come. Remain when the petition is still unanswered. If you keep thinking faith is a master key to open every door, then one day when a door refuses to open, you will imagine I have turned my back. In truth, I am standing right behind you, waiting for you to turn, not so I can perform a miracle, but so I can sit with you. The longer you live with me, the more you will see no formula can substitute for attachment. No method can replace relationship. People may teach you 7 steps to increase prayer power, 5 ways to hear God more clearly, spiritual strategies to redirect destiny. But if you do not spend honest time with me, those steps are only echoes in a barren desert. True faith does not need to be complicated. It needs to be real. And I, your Father, do not hide behind rituals. I am present where you are most sincere. I love when you come to me, not because you need help, but because you want to be near. I treasure your prayers not for polish, but for honesty. I am moved when you dare to be silent before me, instead of saying things you do not believe. Faith, child, is not a lever. It is a cord binding 2 hearts. Not a rope to drag me toward your will, but a bond that keeps you from falling into the abyss when things go awry. I never promised to do everything you ask, but I did promise never to leave you. That is a covenant that needs no verification code. Some will tell you, just believe enough, pray right so boldly, God will open his vault. But child, faith is not a knife to pry open heaven's safe. Some people are not healed. Some lose everything. Some pray and see nothing. Yet they do not lose faith, because their faith is not placed in what I do, but in who I am. And that is a maturity no course can teach. Only the journey with me can birth it. If there comes a day you feel weary in prayer, stop. Not to give up, but to listen. Perhaps you have turned communion into a sequence of operations. Perhaps prayer has become a step to complete. I have never required you to come to me with a checklist. I only ask you to come, like a child sitting by the Father without needing to say a word yet feeling safe, like a friend who need not message yet feels at peace, like a lover who need not prove anything, only be present. When someone asks you, how do you know God is listening? You can answer with the way you live, not with arguments, but with a life of attachment. When they see you keep walking, though results are unseen, keep patient, though the path is closed, keep your heart at peace, where no one else is peaceful, they will understand. They will see that faith does not make you spectacular, it makes you steadfast. And they will realize faith does not keep you from the wind, but helps you hold your sail. If you have ever chased a results-driven faith, I understand. The world keeps teaching that everything must be efficient, productive, measurable. But I do not measure you by outcomes. I measure you by nearness. And nearness is not born from tricks. It is born from remaining, whether or not there are miracles. And if you still remain, still return, still converse, still sit quietly with me, then even if nothing happens out there, heaven looks at you and says, "This one has faith." And do you know this? The closer you stay to me, the less you will crave a faith that accomplishes something, and the more you will learn to love a faith that abides with someone. Then you will see that presence itself is the reward, and when presence is enough, there is no need for hacks, shortcuts, or noise. Only the steady rhythm of breath between me and you, like a song that needs no audience. In time, you will face invitations to level up your faith, experience new power, unlock supernatural favor. But your heart will no longer be swayed. For you have learned that faith is not a membership card in a system of wonders, but a real journey, quiet and shattered and healed, and it has a Father. Then you will cease to worry about results. You will only need to know that I am still here and you are still in me. That is what no one can take away. And so in a world that always needs something new to chase, you will learn to live with something old that never runs dry, relationship with me. No illusions, no manipulations, no secret keys. Only me enough to keep your soul through every season. You have just learned how to be silent before me, and I rejoice in that. But when you open your eyes to the spiritual landscape around you, you may begin to notice something that stings. There are far too many voices speaking in my name that do not spring from my heart. Some parade the titles pastor, prophet, servant of God, yet are merely merchants in a modern temple. They do not proclaim the gospel, they market a product wrapped in faith and labeled supernatural. Child, look closely. When holiness is packaged to sell in a today-only special, when blessing is advertised with the tag, place a deposit to secure your spot in heaven, when miracles are live-streamed like a sales presentation that is no longer worship. It is a subtle form of spiritual exploitation. They need not lie, they only need to blend true with false and sell it to souls starving for what is real. And because the hearers are weary, they are easily persuaded, easily opened, easily parted from their money. I do not blame you if you were once drawn in. Even the tempter used scripture to entice my only son. But I want your eyes open. When someone requires your heart to pay a fee to enter a season of spiritual transition, that word is not from heaven. When someone preaches a good news that makes you restless, not with repentance, but with fear of missing a chance to upgrade your life, that is not the gospel. The gospel needs no added prize to be compelling. Truth, child, is enough all by itself. You will see the same tricks repeated. Today only a prophecy just for you. Act before it's too late. This is your appointed moment. Phrases sprinkled like sugar on a cake, sweet to the ear yet laced with poison. For they do not draw you toward the Father, they pull you toward feelings, pressure, and the hunger to be special. And once you take the bait, you will return not to meet me but to buy more sensation. At that point, faith is no longer communion. It has become an addictive dose. I know your heart longs to do what is right, to live uprightly, to believe what is true. Yet in a turbulent world, you will be torn by invitations that look almost genuine. You will see them weep when they preach, but those tears do not flow from repentance. You will hear them invoke my name, yet their aim is to exalt their own. You will hear them recount wondrous happenings, yet no true change of life follows. And I, your Father, keep being used as a seal of approval for every showy scheme. But child, the way to discern the true is not to run from everything. It is to return to what is primal scripture and a real community. I have not hidden truth from you. I reveal it in my word. No truth is revealed apart from what has been written. And if someone will not allow their life to be tested by a community, if they cut themselves off from correction, if they appear only through a screen and answer to no one, step back. However powerful they seem, however anointed, step back. There are messages that sound like fire, not to purify, but to scorch your reason. They press you to sow, but they will not help you grow. They stir you to acts of faith, yet never encourage a holy life. And I ask you, does that miracle draw you nearer to me or nearer to the preacher? If someone makes you dependent on feelings, on phrasing, on the next payment to keep heaven's connection, then perhaps they are leading you nowhere at all, only in circles forever. And when the emotions fade, the miracle never comes, the money runs out, and your heart feels empty. They are no longer there. You are left with a misshapen faith. You feel ashamed to return to a true community, afraid to open Scripture again, doubtful even of what once was sound. Most painful of all, many of my other children have fallen into that loop, no longer daring to step toward the light because someone once used a false light to burn them. But child, I will not leave you in suspicion. Because I love you, I expose deceit, not to make you disgusted, but to make you free. Not to drive you from fellowship, but to lead you back to a genuine community where people may not preach impressively, but live faithfully. Where there is no live stream, yet daily sanctification. Where crowds are not manipulated, yet souls are tended one by one. There you will taste the gospel in its pure flavor again, simple, humble, brimming with life. And it may be that when you see clearly, your heart will ache, for some part of you had been deceived. Do not be ashamed. I do not blame you. I rejoice that now you are learning to discern. You are learning to love truth more than a lure. You are learning to return to me without a go-between, without gimmicks, without a price. Just come. For here I am still waiting for you with a gospel that offers no discount yet gives you the whole. The world teaches you how to draw attention. It says light is only worth something if it dazzles the crowd. I teach you the opposite. True light need not stand out. It only must not go out. A small oil lamp, burning steadily through the years, is worth more than fireworks that blaze for a moment. And I am seeking such lamps, not for display, but to shine into the hidden corners no one bothers to see. You ask me, how can I bear witness when my life is nothing special? I answer, the less you are in the foreground, the more easily I am seen through you. When you live uprightly where everyone else looks for shortcuts, when you keep kindness in a utilitarian society, when you choose quiet faithfulness over show, then your life itself becomes a living sermon. People may not remember your name, but they will remember that someone once let them sense a light not of this world. Witness is not always a grand act. It may be the way you arrive on time and refuse to cheat, the way you return the extra change when someone miscalculates, the way you bow your head to pray over a meal in a crowded cafeteria, unafraid of laughter, the way you keep silence when misunderstood, not because you are weak, but because you do not need to win to be proven true. The brief word of comfort you give to someone in despair, spoken at the right moment from a heart that has known night with the Father. People do not need another silver-tongued cleric. They need someone who lives truthfully. They need to see faith endure in a person imperfect yet persistent, in one who admits wrong yet will not lie, in one who falls yet rises rightly. Live like this, and you plant something in the ground, hidden small, but one day it will rise within another's heart. They will not recall a sermon, but they will remember a life lived uncommonly in a very ordinary world. I know there will be times you grow weary. Quiet witness earns no applause, no stage lights. At times you may receive a few thanks, but more often misunderstanding, disdain the label of foolish. Do not forget, my son who knew no sin was treated as a criminal. He did not need recognition. He needed to finish. So do you. Each day lived rightly, not to impress, but to be faithful, makes you a little more like him. I have promised this and never withdrawn it. The greatest miracle is not walking on water, but turning a heart of stone into a heart that loves. If you can love the one the world despises, forgive the one others, curse, embrace the one everyone avoids, you have worked a miracle without saying a word. No special effects required, only a heart softened to the Father's pulse. And do not fear that you are too small to have influence. A mustard seed is not large, yet it germinates. A drop of water is not strong, yet it softens stone. A kind word is not loud, yet it reaches places thunderous preaching cannot enter. I do not ask you to do the great in my stead. I ask you to become like me, and I will do the rest. When one person lives rightly quiet, wonders begin in their family, their community, and in those who never imagined they would return to me. So keep witnessing in quiet. Keep being steadfastly kind. Keep loving without expecting anything in return. Let your life be an open door so that someone lost might pass by and realize there is something here, not of this world. And they will seek not you, but me, the one who lived in you, though they never knew my name. And you will see that such lives, small, slow, steady, bring more joy to heaven than any explosive campaign, for there no one is exalted but me. And I know this for sure, you are small enough for me to show myself great. You are true enough for me to dwell with you. And that is a miracle needing no performance, saving the world little by little. And so when you choose to live this way, quiet, steadfast, unshowy, you need not go far to be a blessing sent to someone waiting. They may no longer have the courage to trust rallying cries, but they will trust what they see through you, that God still lives, still loves, and still waits in silence. Do not treat the road just traveled as a weary exclamation point. See it as the ruled line that opens a new page. What is happening is not a breathless curtain, fall, but another birth of the person within you. The adversary has often tried to make you stagger before a cheap imitation of your calling, but right now a deep summons is reminding you of your full identity. You are no stranger left out on the porch. You belong to the royal household. You receive a favor no scheme or calculation can buy. The story of your money, work, and vocation is being rewritten with ink that does not fade, not by tangled figures in a ledger, but by the countersign of the one who has laid his hand upon your life. What clung like shadow whispered slanders, blame, condemnation, cannot overlay the blessing already sealed. Every plan forged to make you collapse will dull before it reaches you, for encircling shelter stands around you like a fortified wall. Do not mistake the roar of upheaval for an ocean swallowing you. The breath that stills, the wind is breathing calm into your house, a peace that rests not only on timber and stone, but pours into each cupboard of your heart, into the dusty corners where worries have long settled. The specter of lack that once knocked with visions of depletion, the fear that looped an invisible cord around your wrists, now they are bound, stripped of power, driven off. You need not bargain with them, for they are dethroned. Draining cycles, toxic ties, self-sabotaging, work habits, routines that bleed your strength are being unlatched and cleared away, returning you to clarity so you can hear the fragile sound of hope without distortion. Healing is not late. It is soaking into tired muscles, threading through the fractures of your heart, entering the family kitchen so the meal no longer carries the scent of strife. Breaths will steady, conversations will soften, and sleep will cease its flailing. You once thought your days were only a tug of war, but that season of strain is thawing. The moment to wrench free has ripened. The unseen chains, self-contempt, shame, the legacy of scarcity are cracking like glass in flame, and you will step out without bowing to ask permission. On the turn of your course, angelic companies have taken their posts. This is no pretty metaphor, but the safeguarding of your path, hidden snares removed, invisible wires reeled in the repeating cycles of disappointment, snapped like dry twigs. Where your lineage was smudged by want, you will see fields grow grain. Where your line was parched by tears, you will hear laughter like seedlings stretching to the light. The one who turns ash to color is turning the morning room of your soul into a banquet hall. The debt that tangled your mind will be weighed on new scales, and abundance will not be a fever of spending, but the steady capacity to give without trembling. Do not let narrow imaginations box in the extraordinary, for that hand delights when you dare to open your mouth and ask beyond what you ever dreamed, and answers beyond all prayer or small thought. The word promised to you is no fragile thread. It is a cable cutting through storm, holding you steady on the swaying bridge of circumstance. Therefore, lift your head like one stepping into a bright lamp-lit hall, not to boast, but to stand where you belong. You were not born to live a life of mere safety, lowering your expectations with every collision. You were raised to become an answer. None of the costly lessons of recent years, the stumbles, the wrong turns, the comings and goings that left your heart in knots, have been discarded. They are being gathered like veins of gold, set into a cracked vessel, making the fissures rarer, stranger, brighter. You will no longer arrange your life around the fear of loss. You will design each day from an upgraded vision, the vision of a faithful steward, who knows that wealth is more than cash in a wallet. It is capacity, it is time, it is reputation, it is the trust held among those close to you. You will learn to choose by a wakeful mind instead of a panicked reflex. You will plan with the bearing of an owner, not a temporary tenant. You will learn to say no to the easy thing so you can say yes to what endures. You will choose companions not because they are loud, but because they can keep silence at the right hour. You will discern the counsel that springs from love, from the enticement that masquerades as care. As you stand in the new order of grace, the hands that once clenched from worry will grow nimble and deft. You will begin to put your space in order, your desk, your calendar, your accounts, your relationships, like a gardener who knows the seasons, pruning dead wood, mounding soil, raising trellises, and then one day you will be astonished to see the trellis heavy with fruit, and that fruit will not be only for you. It will be gathered for those around you who hunger for a kindly word, who thirst for the assurance that they too can be remade. Believe that doors will open when you knock in time. Believe that files once pushed aside will return stamped anew. Believe that yesterday's refusals are not a life sentence. Believe that your voice will steady when you present a vision, because you are speaking on behalf of something larger than yourself. Believe that when you sow generously, the harvest will come back on quiet feet, needing no display. Your faith is not a grimacing attempt at positive thinking. It is the act of standing up, redrafting the plan, making the necessary call, sending a worthy proposal, listening to feedback, and revising. Such faith is not noisy, but it endures. Not showy, yet it works. Wonders because it builds a bridge between what you cannot see and what will appear at the appointed time. Do not panic when another storm gathers. You have learned the breathing that keeps balance. You have learned to look to the horizon instead of staring at the prow. In your house, peace will become culture, not a lucky minute. The table will carry fewer barbs and more gratitude. The workroom will hold the first light of day and hours of rest that truly restore the body. You will learn to speak to yourself in a gentle voice rather than harsh judgment. You will find your cadence between discipline and compassion, between resolve and flexibility. The unhealthy voices, the ones that drain you, the interactions that darken your spirit will slowly fall out of your circle of priority, not because you are proud, but because you know you must conserve strength for the greatness that approaches. Each day you widen the borders of your tent. You enlarge understanding, refine your craft, learn a skill that seems small but proves pivotal. You patch the leaks in the household economy, know where money goes, and whence it comes set clear, aim set aside, a reserve, a planting fund, a giving fund. You are no longer afraid to speak of money, for you have freed it from idolatry and put it back in its place as a servant. Then you will see that true wealth does not swell the ego. On the contrary, it bends you low to serve others with gratitude. You will be less moved by flashy surfaces. You will learn to choose what fits the heart, the time, and the strength. You will discover that true blessing does not burst like fireworks, but stands firm like the earth. It gives you a place to stand, a brace, to lean on, a line to follow. And when someone asks what has changed, you will smile. Not the outer world, but the inner order has been rearranged. Not the small cistern, but the spring has been awakened. Look again at your lineage, where heavy stories were once engraved. One broke off from studies, another folded a dream inside. A little workshop, another ran aground in nameless debts. You need not despise that history, neither sugarcoat it. Lift it with the strength now given to your hands and set it into a new chapter. Where they faltered, you will go on. Where they lacked resources, you will build an ecosystem. Where they were silenced, you will speak, not to preen, but to settle a debt of love. The inherited habits of fear, of small thinking of this, is as far as it goes, will be carefully dismantled. The sentences that weighed you down, no one in our family ever did, that will be replaced with "this time we do it differently." You will not turn into a glittering copy of someone else. You will become the version that was promised and planted from the start, sincere yet keen, gentle yet steadfast, generous yet wise. Do not fear large dreams. Do not fear aims that stretch beyond the frame you are used to. Do not fear a line drawn wide. For the one who steadies your back delights to see you risk in a mature way, to study, prepare, act, adjust, persevere. He rejoices when you dare to ask beyond, and he answers with more. Then the blessing spoken over you will not be a brittle gift. It will be a covenant unbent by slander, undiverted by a stray wind, unfaded by 10 delays. And even as you read these lines, the hidden engine of change has begun to run. Old joints are being loosened, new pieces set in place. You may not yet see a sweeping change, but you are standing on a wholly different foundation. Stone has replaced sand. Therefore, slowly, yet surely, keep to the concrete steps. Master the small habits. Nurture kinship. Choose decent partners. Speak truth. Keep promises, know how to apologize, pause to breathe, laugh when you can, and give when your heart no longer trembles at the thought of loss. Do not confuse humility with shrinking back. Do not call resignation peace. Do not mistake the counterfeit calm of avoidance for the peace that comes from facing and setting things in order. Let new light flood the corners you once locked. Let your own true laughter ring along the porch. Let family evenings become a cherished rhythm. Let your work shimmer with meaning more than with titles. From here on, each decision will be a firm stitch in the fabric of your days. The mantle of destiny will no longer tear from haste or indifference. And when asked for the secret, you can speak it simply. I no longer live to dodge storms. I live to read the language of storms and walk through them. I no longer live to hold everything up alone. I live kept by a promised care. I no longer live by my family's old denominator. I live by the new measure I have received. So walk with the bearing of an heir and the heart of a servant. Open your mouth to build and keep an ear that can hear. Set your eyes on distant things and keep your hands faithful in small ones. Dig the roots deep and do not forget to lift your head and behold the sky. For a new chapter is not written by fireworks, but by ordinary lines, not by the drum, but by the steady pen, not by a passing thrill, but by the durability of a heart made whole. You will find yourself moving through seasons with a different rhythm, a sowing without despair, a waiting without fret, a harvest without display, a rest without guilt. And above all, you will sense something simple yet unshakable. The promise spread over you remains intact. No one can pry it off. What is meant for you cannot be stolen. What you need will arrive on time. What you give will multiply in ways beyond your reckoning. This is not the ending, far less the final page. This is the hour you receive the place. Prepared stride out upon a royal grace, and lift your head into the great wind. Stand calm before the waves, and keep telling the story that from the beginning has been threaded on a strong spindle. Story of one who found their name again, received their true inheritance, ceased to live, cramped by fear, and flung the doors wide for light, for joy, for abundance. So that each day another sure line is written into the covenant that cannot be broken. Miracles are not memories shut between old pages. They are breathing in your present the gentle yet tireless pulse of my heart for you today, as yesterday and tomorrow, unchanged, unweathered by the years. And because I love you, I will not allow this blossoming to be locked inside your private room. I urge you not to keep the light for yourself, but to let it pass through gestures that seem small. Tap an icon, send a link, let the message of hope touch a soul somewhere, wrestling a long night you may never know. In such simple acts, you become a hidden spring carrying water to a parched field. You become a bridge between my promise and the trembling desire on the far side. Do not withdraw thinking yourself too ordinary, for I delight to use the ones deemed insignificant to weave the extraordinary. In their humility I find a space wide enough for my power to dwell. When you rise and walk by trust instead of fearful calculations, you will see the tempo of the world around you change at once. Projects that seem to need years will compress into days. Bonds that seemed impossible to loosen will slip from your wrists like thread. Delays that once wearied you will become the runway for your ascent. Postponements that looked like rejection will turn to the momentum that carries you farther than you dreamed. Doors once heavy locked and barred will swing open as lightly as a thin breeze, unshowy, unnoisy, yet decisive and unstoppable. And eyes that once slid past you will linger longer, recognizing the worth I planted in you from the first. Not because you suddenly grew dazzling, but because the moment I appointed has arrived for the beauty within you to step beyond its hesitant shell. Therefore, do not interrogate the schedule. My timing always strikes the mark like dawn that comes neither too early nor too late. The day you feared was lost has sat in my calendar since before you were born. Remember the old stories that still sing in my word, a forgotten man in a dungeon who, in a single night, exchanged prison clothes for a ruler's robe. A poor woman wandering in strange fields who in one day stepped into the genealogy of legacy. A shepherd boy, not considered worth naming, who in a moment wore a crown. Such turns came not by luck, but because my hand works while people sleep, and even now I act the same for those who place their trust in me. I want you not to keep the evidence of my goodness to yourself. When you tell what I have done, your testimony becomes a torch passed hand to hand, lighting the road for those who come after. The generations ahead need the sound of your victory, so they will know the wall before them can crack. Speak, share, swing open the gate of communication within your reach, not to seek attention for yourself, but to open a way for grace to enter places your feet have never been. What if at the other end of the line there is a heart standing on the brink of despair, waiting for a single word, hope not to let go? What if it is a mother awake through the night, a father at an impasse, a young soul asking whether life is still worth living? I want to use your voice like current through a wire, rousing embers that are about to die. Do not fear that you are not yet perfect. I do not require you to be a flawless vessel. Before I pour in new wine, I only need you to lift the lid. Each time you obey, the ground beneath you seems to shift, sliding free of old assumptions. Relationships that felt frozen begin to thaw. The ideas I placed in you long ago at last find their way into the open. The dreams you dare to name take on flesh and bone. As you step forward, you will recognize that what you thought was random has been arranged. A casual meeting turns out to be the answer. A door you thought irrelevant opens straight into the throne room. A bit of counsel you heard on a rainy afternoon becomes the key that unlocks a fog that lingered for years. And in all things you will see I am never in a hurry, and never late. I keep pace with the seasons I appointed for the universe, and I invite you to walk in that cadence, slowing where I say slow, surging where I say surge. Be brave enough to admit to yourself that the no's you have received are not a final period. Often they are a parenthesis in the story meant to throw the yes at the end of the page into sharper relief. When others turn their backs, I do not. When one door closes, I am holding out my hand to lead you toward a path you have not yet known. Do not be unsettled when a few who once dismissed you change their gaze. That does not mean you suddenly became more valuable, but that they have finally glimpsed what I set in you from the beginning, like a gem long buried in the earth that flashes in its appointed season. Do not let your heart be agitated by comparisons. Each person carries a different clock, yet all are held within my great clock. Another's harvest is not the time for you to sulk, for your field will also come into season. The seed you sowed yesterday is sprouting under the soil, quiet but certain. I invite you to say yes to the present, say yes to today's small step, though you cannot see the whole map. Say yes to an act of love, though no one applauds. Say yes to lifting the weak, though you are busy. Say yes to forgiveness, though the wound still burns. For every yes is a brick I stack, building the road that leads you to what you have prayed for. And when you share my word, you do more than transmit information. You hand over life as if placing a bowl of hot soup into trembling hands in a winter wind. Remember, volume does not determine impact. A timely whisper can save a soul. A video you thought ordinary may be a rope ladder for one trapped in a ravine. I want you to be a tireless bearer of blessing, bringing a steady, gentle presence into your workplace, choosing words that build rather than blame at home, becoming among friends the one who dares to speak of hope when all speak of worry. Living this way, you will discover that miracles do not only unfold on grand stages. They bud in small kitchens, in sick rooms, on buses, at the curb, wherever you lay, a hand on a shoulder and say, I am still here. And one day when you look back, you will see the red thread of my faithfulness running through your life story, the turns that seemed pointless, joining into the pattern of a picture, the tears that once scalded becoming dew on the meadow, the questions that went unanswered, falling into order as dawn floods the horizon. You will smile not because you never cried, but because tears are no longer the conclusion. And even now I am setting you in place so your story awakens longing in those who will come after. You are standing in the line of a testimony that will touch your descendants and people you do not know. Step forward, speak your portion, offer what you have, even if it is only 2 small coins, 2 fish, or 5 loaves. I will break, I will multiply, I will distribute. And when all are satisfied, you will see your hands still holding baskets filled to the brim. Do not be afraid of the swiftness of what is coming. When I accelerate, it is not to panic you, but to show you I do not need long years to do great things. I only need faith broad enough to hold them. Therefore, if anything in you is still knotted by the fear of rejection, I invite you to loosen it. Forgive the voices that made you small. Lay down the heavy expectations you yoked upon your own neck. Let me teach you to walk light, not because you carry less, but because I bear the weight. And once more, do not keep goodness under wraps. Let your telling spread like fragrance through a room full of the weary. You do not know who is waiting for that scent to remember they still have a home to return to. I remain the one who builds what no one imagined through those no one predicted. I remain the one who turns dungeons into palaces, barren edges of a field into places of coronation footpaths, through poor soil into a lineage of glory. Today, it is your turn, not because you deserve more, but because my grace is pleased to flow through you. Open your heart, your hands, your mouth, so the miracle has a way to travel. And when your story is retold, It will not stop with this generation, but will be whispered into the ears of children yet to grow, teaching them that in a world of unending seasons there remains one who is the same before and after always. Near, always kind, always knowing exactly when to say, "It is time." Right at the moment you think you are standing at a dark crossroads, when breath runs short and your heart ripples with unanswerable questions, I invite you to turn your eyes to the word I spoke from the beginning. Anchor your soul in the quote, covenant that does not change. Though the road ahead lies veiled like hills in a morning mist, I am still holding your hand, guiding you along, each narrow stretch, each steep stair, and not a single stride falls outside my gentle leading. What I rouse, I bring to perfection. No tangle is stronger than my purpose. No howling wind can drown the strength I impart. No whisper of fear has the authority to revise the blueprint I have signed for you. I have dispatched the unseen servants of light to stand at the turn you are about to take, opening paths through thickets, raising bridges over chasms, setting before you ordinary doors that were once sealed walls. And when you answer with faith, even as small as a mark hidden in the heart, you are sounding with the pulse of heaven. As you express the number of your ascent, it becomes a rallying beat, a reminder that I turn burdens into favor and the boulder on your shoulders into steps that lift you into spacious places. I see you as clearly as dawn sweeping the night away, every thin ray of hope you have hidden in secret drawers, every scratch in memory no one has touched, every dream you hesitate to name. None of these are faint to me. Your name is not a stray footnote. It is engraved not in fading ink, but cut enduringly upon the palms of my hands. Before your lips can form a prayer, the answer has risen from the throne of grace. Before the tear falls, the vial for your tears tilts toward you. Each drop kept by me like morning jewels. I am reweaving your joy in patterns you have never imagined, not a shallow flash of cheer, but a gladness with deep roots that can weather storms. I am sending goodwill ahead, opening words in the hearts of strangers whose names you do not yet know, placing in your hands opportunities you never planned, bringing solutions that unfasten each link that has held you back. Keep walking, and you will see the rock that seemed to block the way become a table in the wilderness, and where others see a dead end, you will watch surprise bloom like flowers in the cleft of stone. When mocking voices pour into your ears, that trial is a sentence without end. I breathe a warm breath into the depths of your soul and say, this season will pass. No drought holds the ground against the early rain. No long night arrests the dawn. The word that goes out from my mouth is like rain falling on the fields. It does not return empty. It soaks what seem to be dead land, nourishing seeds that lay still beneath the surface, where others see desolation. I perceive a nursery of quiet seed already bedding a harvest. Where you hear a cold silence, I hear the crack of sprouting the roots seeking water, the future hurrying to grow. The pressure you carry is not a period, it is the labor of a miracle. When the earth trembles, it is not to bury you, but to open an exit. You are not being crushed to break, you are being shaped to be stronger. Do not be surprised if old doors slam shut in a rush. I am keeping you from turns that would erode your heart. Do not panic when no appears. Where you expected, yes, I am preparing, the better thing your impatience had not yet imagined. Do not judge the path by its first cramped steps. I measure the journey by the glorious end. I lead you through dry land, so you will prize each drop of water. I let you face the dark to teach you to read the stars' map. You will tell how, at the far edge of night, you learned that light does not retreat. How in the lonely place you heard my voice most clearly. And you will look back and see the days you thought were wasted were the priceless training that enabled you to bear a heavier grace. At times you ask, Why is everything so slow? I answer, because I am laying foundations deeper than the house you desire. The firmer the footings, the calmer the roof in storms. I do not yank the seed from the soil too soon. I let it rest and drive its roots deep before I lift it into the light. On the surface, people may say, nothing is happening, but beneath a world is alive. So it is within you. New connections are forming, new beliefs are being woven. Old habits are falling away. Today you can hardly tell tomorrow you will marvel that you are no longer afraid of the wind. I am digging an unfailing well in your soul so that even through desert you have a source that does not run dry. The grace I give is not merely enough but overflowing so you may water others. And as you share you will know you have not lost. You have only enlarged the reservoir to receive more. Do not mistake my silence for absence. I am silent, so your heart learns to watch. I step back so you practice stepping forward, like a father near a child. Learning to walk, I do not let go so you fall I keep. My hand close enough to lift. Every misstep you fear I turn into a gentle lesson. Every pause you regret I make into a rest where you can breathe deep. You are not alone, though the room holds only the clocks ticking, though messages go unanswered, though the face in the mirror is wet with tears. I am there, not loud, not showy, but the weight of my love changes the air. You rise not because you force yourself to be strong, but because a hand no eye can see is raising you. You continue not from stubbornness, but because a quiet spring within keeps giving you strength. I am also resetting the measure of your success. No longer the flash of praise or a meteoric name, but a gentleness no one can take from you, a faithfulness that lasts through the years, a capacity to love when others turn away. I am teaching you to lay down burdens that are not yours, to say that is enough to the endless demands of human expectations. I am teaching you to rest without guilt and to work without becoming a slave. You are learning to place your heart beneath my morning light so the darkness of last night dissolves before a tender dawn. You are learning to befriend patience, for it opens the door to what endures, and you will discover that what is called slow is in truth the healthy pace of a soul. What is called late arrives exactly on heaven's time. I am arranging purposeful encounters, a teacher whose single sentence will stay with you for life. A new friend who rekindles a joy you thought was gone. The door you deemed sealed at work will open because my hand presses it. Files once buried at the bottom will be set on top. Ideas you scribbled in an old notebook will find good soil. The apologies you were afraid to speak will come forth as lightly as breath. Do not call these things coincidence. They are my footprints going ahead of you, leaving behind seeds of goodness, and as you walk through those seeds will open into grass and flowers. Even the refusals of others are permitted by me to spare you, burdens not meant for you. Not one event escapes my watchful care. All things work for your good when you let me be the conductor. The adversary will whisper that the ground is barren, that every effort is a waste. But look with different eyes. Where others see an empty lot, I see tomorrow's granary. Where others see ashes, I see a hearth about to glow. Into your hands I place seeds of kind speech, of goodness, of trust. And when you sow even a little, even on a tired day, the soil will remember. Your season will arrive in a form you did not predict. You will gather what you did not foresee, in ways you never scheduled. For my harvest does not run on human calendars, it keeps the rhythm of grace, and when grace comes, it comes like a waterfall, enough to refresh even the furrows scorched by heat. Keep my words as a traveler keeps a water flask. Do not let the talk of doubt drain it dry. Do not let your own bitter speech cut your hope. Whenever you feel heavy, remind your mind that you are wearing a crown unseen by human eyes. Whenever you want to quit, remember there is a life on the far side of the choice to stay. You think you are gripping only a fragile string, but in truth I am holding you. You fear you are not good enough, but I did not invite you because you are perfect. I called you because I love you. That love is as steady as the morning sun. It does not increase when you excel, nor decrease when you falter. It is my nature, and that nature is your shelter in days that shake. If old wounds begin to sting, do not rush to conclude you are slipping backward. So often the wound is the very place I am preparing a miracle. I do not numb things with a bandage, I lay on the balm so the pain may heal. What was lost may not return in its old form, yet I can cause what is new to arrive in fuller measure. I do not erase your history. I change its meaning. A memory that once made you shrink will become the story you tell to heal others. A scar that once made you self-conscious will be a badge of victory. You will stand where you once fell and say, "Here I was lifted up." You will return to where you once feared and see, "Here I was set free." I am also teaching you to discern which voices deserve your ear. Not every noise is counsel, not every counsel is truth. Some gentle tones lead to dead ends, some plain words open the way of release. My voice does not coerce, yet it is unwavering. It is like water that becomes a spring by shaping stone with time. When you learn to recognize it, you will feel a quiet peace blooming in your chest each time you choose it. That peace does not depend on instant results. It endures beneath every event. You will no longer chase frantically after outside validation. You will know you are known in the secret place. That will be your new foundation, solid as bedrock, soft as breath. Therefore, do not be ashamed of large dreams. I do not mock a vision that dares to reach. I am widening your tent. I am stretching your cords and driving your pegs firm. I am preparing room for more people than you imagined. Your influence will not be measured by noise, but by the quiet lives transformed around you. And though you act in small places, the imprint will travel far. For what comes from me is not confined by borders. It slips through walls of preference and crosses language barriers. You need only be faithful, the rest is my work. When you are weary, lean on my shoulder. When you are strong, learn to walk beside me. Do not run ahead and burn out. Do not lag behind in fear. Keep step. Keeping step means there is a time to run and a time to stop. A day for plowing and a day for watching the rain. I love footsteps that heed the signal. You will find your fruitfulness increasing, not because you do more, but because you do what is needed. You will no longer scatter your strength over 100 tasks. You will gather it for the few I entrust, and like an arrow flying true, you will reach the mark sooner than you ever thought. From here on, let peace be not a notion, but the air you breathe. Let joy be not a passing laugh, but the ground color of your life's canvas. Let gratitude become the language you use to speak of each day. For when you are grateful, you see. When you see, you love. When you love, you live strong. Everything blends into a single symphony. The low notes of tears, the high notes of triumph, the steady beat of perseverance. And I, the composer, lift my hand to bring all of it, at just the right moment, into beauty. So, my child, gather your scattered worries and place them in my hands. Let me turn them into the raw material of wonder. Believe that nothing can skew the intent I have for you. Remember that unseen guardians stand watch at the door of tomorrow. Hold fast to this truth. Today's pressure is not a dead end, but an invitation to heaven's intervention. You will tell the story not with the rasp of fear, but with the calm voice of one who has seen marvels. You will keep moving. Not to prove anything, but because you have seen the one who goes before. And when someone asks the secret of your peace, you will smile and say, "Because I know the one who turned burdens into blessings, winter into sowing, and penned the answer to my prayer before I could form the words." Keep this as a stone hidden in your heart, weighty enough to keep you grounded, lovely enough to remind you heaven is near. Open your heart, as you would long shut doors for ahead of you, is not a scatter of drops, but a downpour of grace, so full that a single upward glance will tell you it could not be your own doing, nor some hazy accident. It is my hand, gentle, yet resolute, leading you from tight quarters into a spacious land. Do not measure tomorrow by a ruler bent under the weight of old memories. The scratches in your heart are not your definition. They are the witness that you have walked through thorns and are still standing. I am the one who redraws the horizon every dawn and lights the lamp for turns that seemed like dead ends. I open a new chapter upon pages others thought were finished, and I set my pen to begin precisely where the world let its hand fall shut. You were not born to circle the weary wheel of lack, confusion, or retreat. Your destiny is not the endless repeat of faith's cold winters. Blood can carry the memory of generations of struggle. Your ancestors' sigh may still hang over the roof, but I tell you the new thread I am weaving will replace the old pattern. Where you once counted coins there, I will teach you to count opportunities. Where silence once reigned from fear, there I will place in your mouth the promise of peace. Do not fret when people size you by old measures, for I am changing the whole frame of reference. You are not condemned to live beneath the low ceilings others call fate. That ceiling will crack, light will pour in, and you will stand upright, no longer stooped beneath any load. Let me teach you how to look. Instead of staring at the closed door, you will notice unexpected windows. Instead of auditing your shortages, you will discern the treasure hidden in the ordinary. Instead of exhaling weariness, you will inhale hope. I specialize in rebuilding upon ruins without asking you to pretend the ruins were not there. I do not paint over pain to make it pretty. I plant new seed right in the ash, and you will watch green shoots break through where others swore there was no soil left. You may ask, will I be enough? And I reply, you need not be enough, for I am full. You may wonder, will my past pull me back? And I answer, I cut the cords the eye cannot see. Your hands need only release what is no longer your destiny. Do not let old ledgers frighten you. My arithmetic is not the world's. I add courage to fear until fear shrinks. I add a doorway to a wall until the wall becomes a gate. I add dawn to night until night is only a backdrop for renewal. You have lived long as a keeper of scarcity, counting narrow days. Now learn to open the storehouse wide, for I will fill it. And as you share your portion with others, you will see the storehouse does not run dry, because you are not dipping from your pocket, but drawing from the river I have set flowing through your home. Believe this, the blessing I give is not locked by family history, nor roofed over by the limits of your land. It crosses borders and fences, and the hand-me-down stories told until their meaning wears thin. You hear the world say that family has it hard, that line is disadvantaged, that child will never rise. But I choose you to write the next lines, not with the ink of pride, but with daily steps, with acts a little kinder, love a little longer, patience a little deeper, and a steadier companionship with your calling. I will cause the stream of grace to overflow your heart, to pour into those you love, to enter rooms once mildewed by worry, to soak into every meal and every conversation. You will see your smile become a small lamp, yet bright enough to ease the furrows on nearby faces. Do not fear if I set you as a sign. You yourself are not the answer to everything, but your presence will remind others there is a goodness greater than human striving. You are the signpost, and I am the destination. When people doubt, let them doubt, for that is their business. Do not spend your precious time defending yourself. Spend it moving forward, planting more, fanning the flame, for I and you know exactly who began this story and who will finish it. Do not waste the small things. Great blessings often arrive in small, steady beats: a hug, an apology, a return to the desk when you want to quit a carefully cooked meal, an early bedtime, so that tomorrow you are stronger. You do not need to wait for applause to begin believing. Faith is like a mustard seed, tiny yet strong enough to move a mountain. Not that you lift the mountain, but that you allow me to lift it out of the way. Today, say to your own heart, I am crossing a new threshold, and then cross it. Name the things you want to sow: faithfulness, gratitude, clarity, perseverance. Sow them into your hours, into your work, into your relationships. Then wait for the season. With patience for seasons. Do not come by the clock of your impatience, but by the gentle calendar of the earth. And when doubt comes knocking, invite it to sit a while and listen to you tell of the times I raised you up. Doubt will have nothing left to say when your memory is lit. You may find yourself walking a road others call treacherous, but look down at your feet, you are not walking alone. My footprints overlap yours, and the rough places will smooth as you keep placing one step after another. I do not promise you a life without storms, but I promise an oar in your hand and a far shore that does not retreat. You will cross not because the river narrows, but because you learn to swim with the current of grace. Do not snatch at everything. Learn to release what is not yours, to carry empty comparisons. The pressure to please everyone, rumors that tangle the heart. I have set within you a sword that separates the true from the noisy. It is peace. Where peace withdraws, stop. Where peace pours in, go. This peace is not indifference, but a compass that points true, even when the sky is soaked dark. Remember this: you are chosen not to be arrogant, but to serve with clean hands and a tender heart. You are placed at the bridgehead not to admire yourself in the mirror, but to open a passage for others to cross in safety. Your talent is a tool, not a throne. Your name is a container, not the treasure. The treasure is the love I have placed in you to give away freely. If one day everything seems to slow, do not conclude that I have left. Sometimes I slow the tempo to stitch up the tears in a soul, so you will not burst apart when you run faster. Sometimes I invite you into a quiet room so you can hear again the most important voice, the voice that called you from the beginning, that knows your name, that has counted the hairs on your head, that gathers every shard you thought was lost. And when a door slams shut, do not rush to wedge your hand there. Step back to see that in the hallway another door has opened, silent yet steadfast. My doors do not need noise to prove their width. You need only the courage to walk through. I also want you to mark. This blessing does not stop at you. It passes through you like water through a field. The grain does not keep the water. It drinks enough to grow, and the rest continues on watering the next furrows. Those you love, family, friends, even those with whom you have been tense, will find coolness beneath the shade I plant in you. They will see the difference in your eyes, in the way you listen, in the choices you make. They may not be able to fully explain it, but they will know that something warm and steady is near. Do not wait for perfection to love. Love is an action that learns while it goes. I will correct you, teach you to apologize at the right time, to rise in the right way, to keep your heart when praised, to avoid bitterness when criticized. And when the world puts question marks around you, you do not need to hurry to add exclamation points. You place a rest mark and let me speak. I do not need noise to accomplish great things. As for you, keep steady, cleave to the good, live kindly day by day. Keep your word, do your part, honor those who walk with you, laugh more easily, and judge less. Give time to what nourishes the soul: a page of a book, a prayer, an afternoon walk, a candid conversation. For these are the bricks I use to build a lasting shelter around you. At a certain point, you will look back and realize what seemed random was in fact artfully arranged. The people you met, the doors that opened, even the times you fell hard, all of it forming a picture. You can only see whole when you stand at a distance. Then you will exhale, as if a backpack of stones had been lifted from your shoulders. You will smile, not because you have reached the final destination, but because you have learned how to travel, to walk behind a trustworthy call, no longer agitated by noise, no longer tangled by too many options, no longer afraid of old memories. And among the 10,000 questions, keep one clear answer in your heart. The world may doubt, but I do not doubt the one who holds my hand. From now on, each morning when the light touches the door, remind your soul that you are living in a season of fullness, full of meaning, full of opportunity, full of the responsibility to love. You will use every drop of grace given, neither wasteful nor stingy. You will live as a grateful steward, not a proud owner. You will let the sign of my goodness be written by your very life, not as a banner hung high, but as a fragrance that drifts lightly through the room. Whoever passes by will sense it, and whoever lingers will see it more clearly. And if today there is still a worry that clings, do not try to drive it out by your own strength. Place it in my hands like a child placing a pebble in a father's palm. Then walk on, for you are called to move, not to stand still. I am here unchanging, and as I have promised, I will carry you through not only once, but day after day, until your story touches many other stories, and all of them recognize the single source, my steadfast goodness. Keep believing, keep doing what is right, keep loving to the end, the rest leave to me. You are not standing at the lip of an abyss as your fearful heart imagines. You are at the threshold of a door engraved with your name before you were born. My presence wraps around you in this moment, gentle as an early summer breeze, enduring as a spring hidden deep in the mountains. Let my peace soak into your restless thoughts like a lake settling smooth when the wind falls. Let my love set you upright within, lifting your weary soul from the dust of dullness. You are not alone, not today, and not any day, for I have inscribed your name upon the palms of my hands. Lift up your head, for your story is not finished. A new page is opening. My pen is still writing. The words I have spoken over you are not fading ink. They are living seeds rooted in the soil of your destiny, and their season is nearer than you think. Do not fear the space between promise and sight. That space is where faith learns to breathe, where the heart learns to trust. My spirit is stirring a current of hope within your chest, a quiet ember at first, and then a warming flame driving back the fog of discouragement that has hung over the recent days. Hold fast to faith, for I am about to take you farther than your own expectation. My plan is not measured by the ruler of feasibility, but by the breadth of grace. And when the world pours into your ears its hasty invitations claiming that a 7-second ritual can make the poor rich overnight, that there are esoteric secrets certified by this or that organization, be alert. Such voices promise shortcuts, but lay debts upon the heart. I do not build monuments of destiny on pedestals of illusion. I transform lives by process, by daily faithfulness, by small yet steadfast choices. No laboratory can standardize miracles into cashable formulas. What I give is wisdom to steward, generosity to share, and strategy to sow, and then to reap. There are those who exaggerate stories to bait the hurried click, saying this secret will soon vanish from the web, and you must seize it now. My child, I do not hide blessing behind sensational doors. I invite you to walk the clear path where light reveals and truth makes free. The door of your destiny does not open by panic or a flash thirst for things. It opens by the keys of obedience, perseverance, and integrity, as you let heavenly values guide you through the simplest choices. Do not set your hope on the ticket of an overnight transformation that merely exchanges one worry for another. Set your hope on me, the one who changes you at the root, so that, though circumstances shift, you still stand firm, still abound in kindness, still measure wisely what is worth pursuing. Listen, beloved, what seemed beyond your reach is drawing near your door, not by accident but by my decree. I have spoken favor over your name. What I have ordained, no one can erase. You have come through a season of testing where hope was buffeted by the winds of life. There were nights you wondered whether the promise would truly come to pass. Even so, I did not leave you for a minute. In the quiet hours when you felt hidden from every eye, my gaze kept watch like a gardener guarding tender shoots in the midnight dew. I have counted every silent sacrifice, every whispered prayer, every time you chose to believe when all evidence said otherwise. I am gathering every unstable piece, disappointments, small victories, tears, to weave a radiant witness, and through it many lives will be encouraged. When you look back, you will see my fingerprints pressed upon every chapter. Even the painful pages will glow with new meaning. What the enemy schemed as a snare, I have turned into a launch pad, setting you to receive what exceeds the usual measure. I am the one who makes humble beginnings abundant, who turns a scorned seed into a field heavy with grain. Therefore, do not let the hucksters of chance trade your truth. Do not let the fever of instant wealth cut a shortcut through your soul. I am not shallow. I am steadfast. I am not hasty. I am exact. And it is precisely this depth and steadiness that forms the foundation of a blessing that does not wither with the seasons. If your heart resonates with, my words say, I trust God not as a charm to bend reality, but as an affirmation of the soul that opens the door for me to shape your vision and reset your cadence. Do not fear sudden movements or unexpected changes. I am coordinating all things for your good. You may have questions, but I am not hesitant about your destiny. I am the anchor that holds you steady amid rough seas, the hand that draws you to shore whenever the whirlpools try to pull you under. I will send you confirmations again and again, through a gentle dream, through the right person at the right time, through a whisper in the deep, so you will know you are still on the right path, even if the sea has not yet split and the sand is not yet dry. Trust. My process for my timing is always perfect. You have been set apart for things larger than what appearances can measure. The world weighs worth by showy outcomes. I weigh your heart and your readiness to love, to forgive, to keep believing. Those quiet choices have been storing up a harvest about to erupt. I will not only touch your finances, I am healing the bruises of your self-worth, rebuilding dreams you thought had decayed, and renewing your purpose, so each day you return to the well of meaning. Where heavy doors are shut, I open an unexpected way. Where your ears have heard no, I whisper the heavenly language of yes, a yes that is mature, responsible, and deep. As you step into the season ahead, remember you do not walk alone. My messengers go before you, leveling uneven ground and dissolving the snares of adversity. I give you discernment for wholesome partnerships, courage to say no to handshakes that are lovely only on the surface, and courage to say yes to doors that require faith. I clothe you with favor so keyholders open their hearts to you. No one will belittle or overlook your value, for I am speaking your name in rooms you have never entered. But remember, the aim is not hollow glory. The aim is meaning blessing that multiplies light shared. I am touching the tender places in your heart, the scars of betrayal, disappointment, toppled hopes. You do not need to wear the past like an indictment around your neck. Trade it for wisdom, compassion, and fresh joy. Place your wounds in my hands and watch me turn them into medicine that heals others. I lift you not only so you are comforted, but so that those who look at you will know my faithfulness is still in the land. When they ask, how did you get through, the answer will be simple and luminous. God carried me, sheltered me, and turned the curse into blessing. Do not underrate the endurance of a steadfast heart. The pain you have borne with patience has tilled the soil and made room for the mystery seed to break through. Every prayer you offered, though it felt like it fell into silence, is now blossoming in ways that will move you to tears. This is a season of acceleration where long years of waiting compress into a moment of response. I am restoring what was stolen, returning what was lost, increasing what was depleted. Cycles of scarcity are shattering like late winter ice. Peace will return to its throne as you recognize needs supplied and the road ahead guarded. My spirit opens your eyes to opportunities hidden in corners, ideas burning bright and waiting to be named supplies, appearing just when you need them. Settle your heart, I believe, not from blind optimism, but because you hear my breath reviving dreams that had faded. The windows of heaven are opening. This is only a beginning, not the final crescendo. As your eyes stay on me and your heart stays open to my voice, you will walk in blessing beyond measure. Release worry to receive my peace. Release doubt to receive my guarantee. Release the negative labels others pasted on you to receive an unbreakable promise. You are covered, shielded, appointed for supernatural provision. Yet remember, the greatest blessing is not the wealth you hold, but the person you become in my company. I will teach you stewardship instead of spending from fear of lack, sowing instead of rigid hoarding, thoughtful planning instead of betting on shortcut miracles. I am not against abundance. I am training you so abundance will not swallow your soul. Therefore, do not chase the noise of baseless prosperity tricks, boastful, science-proven slogans no honest conscience can accept. Chase gentle wisdom full of good fruit, without deceit. Choose steady steps, learn labor with purpose, be generous, be humble, be brave. There I place the label acceleration on your journey. And then when the turning season arrives, you will find yourself calm in strong winds. Doors you thought locked for life will swing open as though they were always meant to. Chance meetings will reveal themselves as appointments. Yesterday's no will be translated as not yet, so that today it resounds, yes, it's time. You will no longer carry the ache of abandonment. You will hear your name announced in places you have never been, not for show but for service. You will know how to say no to bargains that cost your soul and yes to the invitations that lead you toward the radiant self I designed. Be faithful, be expectant, be ready for a transfiguration that will leave you awed by my power and kindness. The door before you does not open to pride's pounding, but to faith's true rhythm. I am the one who does not fail. No chapter closes outside my intent. No line is hurried. Every comma, period, and semicolon has meaning. You keep walking, I will take care of the rest. You keep sowing, I will bring the harvest to fruition. You keep loving, I will do the healing. And when you tell the story, listeners will know that in a world loud with shortcuts, there remains a sure road. The road of trust, rightly placed, of steps taken in right time, of a steady heart under the shelter of my wings. I am the first and the last, the opening moment and the closing chapter, the prelude and the final chord that brings your story home. Even when you feel alone in a silent room, my presence lies over you like a soft mantle, seeps into your breath, slips through trembling fingers, and sets upon your heart a steady rhythm beyond all human measure. Lean your head on my shoulder. Rest in care that never runs dry, for I am the one source that never breaks. I am the remedy for old fractures. No one dares to touch the sure shield against the spear of doubt. If your heart answers with a sign of trust, even a quiet mark of resolve, know you have stepped into the cadence of my kingdom. You have chosen to entrust the process to wise hands and to receive a peace that does not come from striving, but from the one who goes before you. Soon you will notice confirmations everywhere in a stray word, spoken at a small cafe at dawn, in a file door that suddenly cracks open when hope seemed spent, in an unexpected message, just as you were ready to release your grip, in a fragment of music brushing your ear to remind you nothing is forgotten. Answers will visit every dim corridor like a breeze lifting heavy fog. A way will appear where only a cold wall stood, and even the unlikeliest turns, including what you once called mistakes, will become the steps that bring you closer to the purpose written for your life. My plan does not bow to forecasts, nor close because of economic ledgers or hasty human verdicts. I work beyond charts and curves, beyond stale prejudice and narrow expectation. I hold every resource and summon them on time, not a breath late. So, child, lift your face from the floor of doubt. I am restoring in you the upright stance of the one who remembers they are loved. I am returning to your heart the voice that noise once buried. You can. I brush the dust from dreams you thought had faded, returning them to their native color, renewing them with the light of possibilities larger than your old horizon. My calendar keeps perfect appointments. I miss no train. I do not arrive after the invitation nor before the foundation is deep. My rhythm is exact, and when I say now, the strange, jagged gears fall into place as if they had never been apart. Grip hope as a traveler holds a water skin in the desert. What is unfolding before you is greater than last year's wish, lists, and wider than the frame of your imagination. Soon you will stand in a land you once dared visit only in dreams, and you will discover something wondrous. It was not your dreaming that brought you there, but my love that carried you over the ravine. My goodness will not trail you like a meek shadow. It will catch you, overtake you, and surround you, so you walk in a river of kindness. No wall is thick enough to dam. You are not labeled by yesterday's stumble. Your identity is not the slip, but the word I spoke over you from the beginning, loved, called, destined. The trials you pass through are not punishment, but the furnace forging the resilience tomorrow will require. Today's experiences are casting wisdom for the path ahead, like steel tempered by true fire, like clay in the kiln, becoming fine pottery. Your faith is being refined clearer and more radiant than pure gold. It will not glitter under short lights, but glow steadily through long nights unseen. Do not lose heart because what you see is still rough and narrow. Choose to trust what I have spoken for. That word is the vessel that bears you across the storm and the spine that steadies you when the winds shift. There will be days you look around and everything seems to fall at once. Plans tangle like thread. People do not understand. Your heart grows weary. Yet even in the order that seems broken, I am arranging another order, deeper, sturdier, truer, to the design I cherish. I allow some old doors to close, not to leave you shelterless, but to lead you into a room with windows to a wider sky. I redirect projects that looked promising not to blunt your courage, but to yoke you to the assignment that fits your nature. I replace certain relationships to free you from unhelpful dependence and bring into your life companions who walk with you, lift you, listen, and speak truth with kindness. None of this is random seed scattered on a road. It is the rounded stroke of a patient brush upon the great canvas I have been painting since before you could name your dreams. And when you wonder, am I ready? Am I late? I answer gently, my hour is near as warmth upon your cheek. You are neither late nor early. You are exactly in the chapter you need. Let me teach you to breathe to the tempo of hope. Inhale, my word. Exhale your worry. Inhale truth. Exhale the counterfeit. Inhale grace. Exhale self-reproach. You will find that when breath is aligned, your steps find their cadence. When your steps are steady, you see more clearly. When you see clearly, you love the journey. And when you love, you endure not from compulsion, but from meaning. Do not measure your value by the crowd's applause or by others' milestones, for you are not walking their map. Let the inner call, the one I planted, become your compass. It will guide you through clouded skies around the valley's bend to shores unnamed in any travel guide. I know the quiet can make a soul tremble, but my silence is not emptiness. It is space for the seed to take root. Roots do not sprout leaves, so the surface looks still, yet beneath is a whole world in motion. Do not demand to see a shoot to verify life. Trust the hidden work I am doing in the soil. In the proper day, you will hear the subtle rustle of a bud breaking. Soon what you carried within will push up through the earth, lush and reaching. Then you will understand why I did not rush the fruit. Early fruit wilts quickly. I choose ripeness in due season, so the flavor is full, the weight is sure, and your hand does not shake as it holds. It may sound slow, but it is the only way for fruit to endure and for joy not to fade into regret. I also want to remind you, the true worth of tears is not in how quickly or slowly they fall, but in whose hand they land, and they never slip through my hand. Each drop is kept as a witness that you have lived with your whole heart. From those very drops, I brew a special ink to write the next chapter, one in which your voice grows lower, deeper, gentler. Because you have known pain, you know how to give hope. Because you were once rejected, you know how to open your arms. Because you once stumbled, you have become a good friend to those still learning to stand. These experiences will be the golden key that opens rooms others do not know how to enter. You will find yourself trusted not because you speak well, but because you have walked through and still chosen to love. In the moments when your strength hits bottom, I will send a small ray of assurance, sometimes a brief encounter, sometimes an anonymous word, sometimes just a kind look in a stranger's eyes. Those details that seem so incidental piece themselves into a great mosaic of encouragement, and you will exclaim, "So I was never alone." I will use the smallest things to guide you away from the road of exhaustion a minute to drink water a weekend morning, with the laptop closed, a walk beneath the trees, a page of journaling before sleep. Such simple habits open the door to peace, and peace will bring back clarity. From clarity you will discern what is yours to do and what is the trap of distraction. You will stop running after every call and answer only the melody I have set within your heart. Then you will witness a strange arithmetic, the work you do still. The same tasks suddenly becomes more fruitful. Conversations that seemed worn out suddenly kindle understanding. Ideas you jotted down in your notebook suddenly find companions. Doors once shut suddenly turn as a hand on the other side moves the knob. You will not be able to explain it with management jargon or performance charts. You will simply know that when I am the center, everything else finds its place. And in that new alignment, you need not strain to prove yourself, nor shrink to win acceptance. You need only be faithful each day, and faithfulness will clear a path for glory in its own way. If anyone drags up old slips to make you shrink back, smile and remember that I have already penned a different ending, a victorious ending. Does not mean every chapter is pleasant, but it does mean that in the end, light wins. That journey shapes the person you are becoming, a person strong yet gentle, courageous yet at rest, wise, yet keeping a tender heart. Do not let old memories tie your feet. Let them become paving stones. You will step over them light of heart because you have forgiven others, forgiven yourself, and let me name all things anew what is turned to good. So, if your soul wants to set a milestone for the decision to entrust, then set it a sign known to you and me. It is not for display, but to remind your heart that you have chosen to place the wheel in the hands of the one who never drives awry. From that moment, look around with a bright expectation, not the naive expectation that storms will not come, but the mature expectation that in the storm there will be a sturdy boat, a safe harbor, a star to guide. Let my word become the bridle that keeps you from being dragged about by fickle news. Let that word be the wings that carry you through the dark clouds. And when you pass through, you will understand, not because you are capable, but because I have carried you. Therefore, my child, lift your head, square your shoulders, restore your smile, dry your eyes. Prepare for a new season in which what was sown in tears will bloom in laughter. Be ready to see goodness pursue you, overtake you, and remain. Be ready to stand in places that once made you hesitate and find yourself strangely at peace. Be ready for the week's umpteenth door to open without your pounding. Be ready for the call you thought would never come to ring at the very hour you just cleared your heart. Hold on to hope like breath, to truth like a heartbeat, to love like your eyes. For if you ask the secret to weather every storm, the answer remains, believe what I have spoken, and let my word be your soft hammock, your lasting roof, your sturdy boat. For I am the beginning and the end, the one who writes the ending and never breaks a promise, and you are the main character I choose to love, to lift, and to bring home whole. Engrave this deep within every movement. Arriving now is not random flourish, but the intricate arranging of love which has watched each of your breaths through the years. I am pushing back the old boulders that once blocked your sight, softening the sinews of a soul gone calloused, mending the threads of memory torn by disappointment and self-reproach. I am bringing a light that does not dazzle the eyes, yet illumines every dark corner, so you can see what to keep, what to release, what to cherish, and what to bid farewell. And when I command the mountain to shift, it will move. When I say the crack must close, it will knit. When I call by name, restoration, reconciliation, and renewal, they will enter your life like honored guests, arriving on time, lighting lamps, setting the table, changing the curtains, throwing open windows for the new wind to rush in. Therefore, if your heart answers in unison, I love God, you have knocked in rhythm upon the mysterious door of grace, and the latch will spring. Many will be puzzled, some will purse their lips in doubt, others will try to explain it their way. But all will at last have to witness something no old formula can account for, my hand at work. Not coincidence, not luck, but the gentle yet resolute intervention of the one who saw you in your nights, heard your wordless prayers, and treasured each small act of faithfulness as a gardener keeps a precious seed. Obstacles that once lay across your fate, milestones, stuck fast from fear knots, too tangled to name, will be loosened, one by one. Not so you can run wild, but so you can walk straight to the place I wrote on the map of your soul from the beginning. I am calling you to step into rooms you once only dared to view through a narrow pane, the room of responsibility where you sign new charges with a steady hand. The room of creativity, where imagination is authorized to flourish unbound by cramped molds. The room of influence where your voice becomes a foothold for others to find courage. So that you do not flounder on every stair, I grant wisdom like a lamp in hand, enough light for each step, neither puffing you up nor letting you slip. This is a season of favor in full bloom soil, made good sending forth shoots, a time when the seeds of faith you sowed in quiet begin to crack open and push the earth to meet the new Sunday. Therefore do not hunch when blessing knocks, do not shrink like a passenger begging a ride. Stand upright in what is entrusted to you and learn to receive without guilt, joyful yet unshowy, grateful yet unhurried. I open ways not for you to parade, but for you to become a channel. And even as you step into abundance, remember the days when you had nothing but me, midnight, when you still whispered the times you traded convenience to keep what is right, the moments you chose kindness over bitterness. Those seemingly weak instants forged a treasure no vault can buy, the art of reliance. It keeps you steady where others sway warm when a sudden chill wind rises, and teaches you that the meaning of sufficiency is the freedom to share without fear of lack. Be at ease, for I see every bowed head, every apology, every meal where you swallowed pride to keep peace, every time you set the phone down to listen to the ones you love, every tear you wiped in secret. I note it all, not a mite forgotten, and now the reward does not come like a gale to knock you over, but like a river calm, deep, steady, flowing into the fields where you have sown. You receive not because of a scoreboard, but because you are my beloved, and I remain faithful to my own heart. I am also keeping you from knives hidden in smiles, from velvet-lined traps, from hands extended while claws lie tucked in sleeves. Those wearing the mask of friendship will show the seams. Jealous souls, plots to break hexes of slander, will lose their power, for your territory is fortified. My angelic host works without pause, without fatigue, without sleep. They raise fences no eye can see, remove obstacles before you touch them, close doors that seem spacious but slope downward, and open humble paths that lead up. The shelter over you is not paint that peels. It is the shade of a father who knows every detail of your story, the small joys, the sorrows you dared not voice, the dreams you rolled like paper and hid in a drawer. And if ever you have doubted, remember that I do not know how to break a promise. I did the impossible for Joseph, turned a pit into a launching pad, used human forgetfulness to fulfill heaven's time. I parted the sea for Moses when chariots thundered behind and deep waters loomed ahead, so a whole people might know that deliverance can come by ways no one imagines. I gave Solomon a clear mind fit to govern and a supply beyond dream, so he would not live shackled by fear of lack. I turned Job's mourning into a double portion after the storm passed. I am still, I undiminished, ageless, unchanging. And today, I choose to make your story a living witness, so your generation and your children's will see that promises do not die midway. So as you move into new stretches, do not count steps by worry, measure them by faithfulness. Learn to rest amid the bustle, knowing grace does not wait for the to-do list to end before it comes. Train your eyes to notice the signals I send in the small, a call at the right time, a door closing to spare your hours, a chance meeting that ties a thread of goodness. Do not drain your energy explaining yourself to everyone. Spend that strength tending what I have given. Do not try to retaliate against tiny needles, for the mantle you wear is thicker than their sting. Live kindly without timidity, strong without harshness, decisive without coldness. Remember that the wisdom I give teaches you to move in step, to know when to advance and when to pause, when to speak and when to be silent, when to sign and when to depart. It saves you from losses born of haste and from chances missed through hesitation. In your home, keep peace as the household's habit, a meal seasoned with gratitude, a work desk, in order accounts with a plan, relationships with clear boundaries. Beyond the threshold, practice it widely, keep the promises you speak, finish the work you accept, honor the dignity of others. You will be surprised when gates you once thought immovable swing open on their own. Files once pushed to the bottom are called by name. Refusals from the past turn into fresh invitations. Blessing does not only change the circumstances outside, but remakes the inner life fitting you to receive what I give. And when abundance arrives, do not forget the lessons of the days when your hands were empty. Those very days taught you to lift your head without pride, to bow without shame, to give without hesitation. They curved your heart into a shelter broad enough for others to dwell. Do not fear that love will make you easy to use. The wisdom I give will fasten the front door, set the house in order, post a do not enter where it is needed, and open an east-facing window to welcome the Sunday. You will be both soft and steady, both generous and discerning, and through it all you will watch yourself shift from one who fears the waves to one who can read the wind, from one who flees trials to one who trains for strength in the valley, from one who waits for a lucky windfall to one who sows with patient care. Do not be surprised when those who once doubted you come seeking counsel. Do not be hard on them, for kindness itself will speak most eloquently of me. Answer with a smile and an invitation. Come share the water that quenched my thirst. And when night falls again, you will know you are not alone. I still keep watch at your doorway, lay my hand upon your brow, and continue writing new lines into your family's story. None of those lines is written by fear. All of them are inscribed with the ink of peace. Your tomorrow is no longer a book to dread, but a page awaiting your signature. Sign it with trust, with gratitude, with small deeds that endure. For I am moving mountains, I am knitting fragments together. I am renewing the garden, I am filling the granary. And all of this happens not because you are good enough, but because I am good. Keep walking. Do not lower your head for the sake of out-of-season criticism. Move forward. Do not let small voices tie your feet. Keep the habit of whispering, "I love God," in the clamor of the marketplace. That sentence is not a charm, but a master key that keeps your heart in living contact with the source. Then day by day, you will see goodness spread concord, take root renewal blossom. You will see favor, move like a heartbeat, quiet yet sure, invisible, yet alive. In time, when you look back, you will say, "How wondrous," and I will smile, for that is what I intended to choose you, as an unfading witness, so that people may know there is a love that keeps its word through every generation, a hand that carries through every storm, and a way that opens in places thought to be dead ends, the way that leads to new life, where blessing does not merely visit but abides, where honor is not a nameplate but the manner of your everyday living, where your story joins the larger story I am writing, enduring, steady, gentle, and radiant. In the very slowness that once drew your sighs, where clocks seemed to stop and your patience cracked, I am laying a quiet, durable light hard to describe. There, my glory is not displayed with loud commotion, but by a reordering from within, your heartbeat grows less frantic, your eyes quit darting about for shortcuts, and your soul learns to sit still like a dry field, waiting for rain. You thought delay was a minus sign, a broken door, a mark of failure. Yet I am using that pause to reshape the form of hope and to set within you a resilience nothing can shake. When you think I am silent, I am teaching you the language of seasons. Some seeds need only days. Some require a full monsoon. Some fruit ripens under harsh sun, some in a late mist. Nothing is missed when it is in my hand. Right where you were once restless from waiting, I am turning your gnawing into fullness, like a potter who spins the wheel slowly so the clay can take its shape. I keep the slower tempo so your heart has time to understand grace. You once knocked and knocked upon the door, eager for it to swing wide at once, but when it opens at my appointed hour, you discover the room within has been put in order, the light tuned to the right warmth, the chairs set just so for the relationships I am bringing. Do not fear the days that seem to be days when nothing happens. They are the hidden concrete under a shining house. I give you not only a destination, but also the feet that can walk without being dragged by haste, and so fullness ceases to be a sudden windfall and becomes the natural fruit of deep roots. Do you remember the long noons under the sun when you told me I am tired of waiting, and it seemed your words evaporated into air I heard? Every cry, whether a whisper, whether released amid the traffic's roar, or in a room of thick darkness, goes straight to my throne. Not a word falls to the ground, not a tear is forgotten. Every signal from your heart is pinned like a marker on my map of love. I have answered not with ostentatious thunder, but with arrangements that leave you awestruck and quiet. A person you never expected arrives at the precise moment. A door you never imagined begins to open. What you thought was lost returns in a better form. I do this not to flaunt power with noisy spectacle, but to teach your heart a new way to love me, because I am who I am, not only for what I do. The emptiness you mistook for failure is the space I intend to fill, like a vessel that must be hollow to receive. Your soul needs clearing from clamor and from misplaced expectations, lest they muddy the water I pour. I do not let you lack for the sake of drama. I let you lack so you may learn what sufficiency is. I do not let you thirst to test your endurance. I let you thirst so you may know the spring that is pure. In the quiet, you can hear your own footsteps and the breathing of grace. In the hollow, you discover that what once seemed essential was only accessory. And when the excess falls away, you stand lighter, travel farther, and smile more easily. I do not blame your frustration. It is the reflex of those who have waited long, but I will not let it lead you. I turn it into stamina, like turning boiling water into steam that drives a ship forward. You will see the day when the very task that once made you irritable becomes your practice ground for stillness. The very face that once annoyed you becomes the one you train your heart to love. What changed? Not the outer world, but the climate within you. I have changed the season, pushed back the fog, lit a new sun inside. As your inner weather warms, collisions no longer shatter you, waiting no longer tangles you. You stand in the stream of life like a tree with deep roots. The wind may be strong and leaves may fall, but the trunk holds fast and tender shoots will rise again in their time. You wondered why the answer seemed late. I say I am not late. I arrive on time according to the calendar of wisdom. You look by the calendar of impatience. I look by the calendar of completeness. I honor process. I love how a child learns to walk wobbly, yet sincere. Each small step is a gentle victory. I do not only want you to obtain what you ask, I want you to become the kind of person who can keep it without being consumed by it. Therefore, at times, I allow days, weeks, even years, so your muscles of endurance may be trained, so your eyes may learn to discern the good from the better, the beautiful from the durable. When the gift at last rests in your hands, it will not make you a captive but a free steward. Your cry has reached the throne, and I am answering in ways that render you speechless, not from fear, but from grateful wonder. Some answers I send straight down the line. What you asked comes to your door. Some I send by a winding path. I repair the road beneath your feet, so that in the end you arrive at a destination you did not even know you were meant to reach. Some answers wear the shape of a no, but hidden within is a larger yes. As when I do not give you the boat you wanted because I am teaching you to swim toward a gentler bend in the river ahead. You will fall quiet, not for lack of words, but because words feel small before what I unfold. Frustration turns into astonishment, complaint into song. I am rewriting the definition of success in your dictionary. Once success meant fast, loud, dazzling. Now it means timely, gentle, enduring. Once you measured by applause, now you measure by the peace that remains at the end. Once you looked up at another's scorecard, now you look down at your own garden and rejoice to see roots deep and leaves green. I do not take your great dreams away. I only change the engine. Instead of running for fear of missing out, you walk for love of the good. Instead of hurrying to prove yourself, you serenely bear fruit. Instead of tugging at time, you learn to trust my hour. Then each slower day ceases to be a burden and becomes a reward. You have time to behold, to seed, to feel, to give thanks. Just when you think you have fallen into a void, I am setting a new stage beneath your feet, a place where you learn to speak kindly, even to yourself, where you practice forgiving nameless faults, where you tidy the drawers of the mind, throwing out the mold of comparison, envy, and excessive self-reproach. You will be surprised how light the heart becomes simply because you sit down, breathe slowly, and name your true condition before me. Fullness does not begin in the vaults out there, but in the room of the soul. I fill that room with light, with truthfulness, with the steady trust that I am still here, unchanging even as the calendar pages turn. Do not be troubled when others do not understand what you are waiting for. Waiting in me often looks like standing still with eyes closed, but it is in fact the posture of the seed, closing its eyes to hear the soil teach it how to sprout. Waiting is not surrender. Waiting is choosing the right guide. And when my footsteps sound at the threshold of your life, all things take their proper place. The past stands where it should, behind. The present squares its shoulders wide enough for grace. The future stops threatening, becoming an invitation. Then a joy without a reason rises. You cannot restrain your smile, and you understand that even the days that seemed wasted have been exchanged for ore of great worth. I am teaching you the art of quietness, to do the right things in peace, to build what endures in silence, to love the hard, to love with a heart that does not make noise. The answers I send that make you go silent are not to make you timid, but to help you keep the holiness of the moment. For some graces must be brooded over in stillness for a time, as bread must proof before it becomes soft. When the hour comes, you will share, and your testimony will not be showy but weighty, proven by the way. You lived through the slow days without bitterness, without quitting, without losing your gentleness. My child, I turn delay into a stage for glory. I turn impatience into a lesson in love. I turn emptiness into a vessel. I turn a sigh into a quiet melody. I turn idle hours into a precious school. And I do all this not because I enjoy teasing you, but because I see you on the far side of this moment, grown gentle, resilient, radiant, not with glamour, but with goodness soaked deep. Then what you receive will not swell your ego, it will widen your heart to make room for others. What you hold will flow. Blessing does not sit still. It passes through you like a river through the fields, leaving grain, golden riverbanks, green and underground springs refilled. So, if today your calendar still lies silent, remember, silence is not abandonment. I am working on a level you cannot yet see, speaking to the soil, summoning the seed, instructing the wind, moving the clouds, arranging the moon. You need only be faithful to the day at hand. One kind deed, one word of thanks, one apology, offered one timely hour of rest, one nourishing page, one honest conversation. Small things are bricks. From these bricks I will raise a sturdy house. When the bell rings and the hour arrives, you will find the door swinging open, without a jolt, for its hinges were oiled long ago, right in those days when you thought nothing at all was happening. And when you step into the fullness I have promised, you will not be surprised that you no longer feel the need to say so much. Beauty often softens the soul. You will cherish those precious silences where you and I understand one another with few words. You will give thanks for the delays that forged you into one who knows how to wait, to listen, to see. You will smile, remembering your old frustrations. For now, those very uncomfortable moments have become the steps that lifted you into the light. And if tomorrow brings yet another season of waiting, you will place your hand in mine and whisper, I know this is the next lesson. I will nod, smile, and keep turning what seemed late into what is right, on time, what seemed empty into what is full, what sounded like a small cry into a great answer. The world may measure time by the minute hand. I measure by fruit, and your fruit when ripe will be sweet enough to heal the old bitterness and fragrant enough to announce that I am here, quiet, certain, and good to the very end. In this very moment, throw wide the door of your heart, gather up all your faith and breath, and offer me your deepest, truest prayer. Almighty God, you who move mountains and mend the broken-hearted place, your hand upon the fractured places of my life, seal every crack with the oil of gladness and the warmth of peace. Write my story anew according to your good purpose. Grant me eyes that recognize opportunity amid the storm ears that discern the call of truth among 1,000 noises, and feet ready to enter the rooms you open. Dry the midnight tears, trade my weariness for strength, my fear for courage, that I may stand firm when blessing comes, not shrinking back, not retreating, but stewarding grace with wisdom and kindness. Merciful Father, water the field of my heart with the gentle rain and favorable wind of wisdom from above. As I climb to new rungs, set a lamp at my steps, so that every decision bears the fruit of righteousness. Every word builds up, every choice honors you. Untie every hidden knot that has held me too long, my insecurity, sorrowed memories, and self-limiting habits. May every snare of the enemy be rendered powerless beneath the shadow of your angels, that I may walk lightly, yet surely, calmly, yet strongly, gently, yet decisively. Holy One, stretch the shelter of your covering over my household. At the table, turn complaint into thanksgiving. In the living room, turn misunderstanding into dialogue. In our private rooms, turn restlessness into peaceful sleep, heal weary bodies, mend strained relationships, and restore depleted resources. Teach me to keep healthy boundaries, to say no to the easy, so I can say yes to the lasting, and to guard purity in thought and deed, that my home may become a dwelling place of your peace. Good Shepherd, I thank you for your unfailing protection. You have kept me from subtle traps, unmasked false friends, and scattered schemes like smoke. I am grateful for the silent ranks of angels who keep watch for the invisible hedge that surrounds us, for the path of my feet no longer wandering. I thank you for teaching me peace as a household habit, gratitude at the table order in my work, and boundaries within love. Let this thanksgiving be steady as breath unfading through every season. Lord of every blessing, I thank you for the favored grace. You pour over me not only material provision, but the wisdom to steward it, the generosity to share it, and a healed heart to love with it. Thank you for reminding me not to forget the days when only you remained, for that memory keeps me humble when harvest comes. May my gratitude be written each day in kind deeds, in open hands toward those in need, and in a life that reflects your kindness. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we may build a strong community of faith.